Good evening. Yes, the sad passing of Brian Wilson, as I'm sure many of us know. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a tribute, playing his undoubtedly his farewell album. There's no denying that at my piano was his farewell album. After, of course, Peer Pressure, which came, was it 2015, which I ended up buying, and I love the pieces. I think it's a terrific album, actually. Peer Pressure by Brian Wilson features many other artists on the album, and I recommend getting that if you don't have that one in your collection. So, right, okay, yeah, we've got a few guests coming on. Chris and possibly a few others. Richard might tag along as well. So, and who knows, who'll show up, talk about perfect albums better than the greatest hits, or just albums like greatest hits, just as good as greatest hits, if not better, or albums which the greatest hits don't offer. So maybe there's a few songs on the album which don't often feature on the greatest hits. Of course, like there'll be deep cuts as well, which won't feature on the greatest hits albums. So, very specifically great albums in today's broadcast. So, stay tuned for that conversation as well. Right, let's get the link out there for those who want to jump on. Let's get the camera rolling. There we go. Right, let's get the link. Hey, hello. Yeah, you're not late, Richard. I did say sort of 8 o'clock, and I was just doing a little bit of a tribute there for Brian Wilson. So you're not late at all. You haven't missed much. Right, set the link out there for those who want to get involved, or if you're comfortable leaving comments in the chat, you can do that. Of course, there's no pressure. So yes, quickly then. You all right, Chris?
Yeah, it's a bit dark here. I didn't realise how dark it was. Hang on, let me turn the lights on.
You all right, Chris?
Yeah, it's a bit dark here. I didn't realise how dark it was. Hang on, let me turn the lights on.
You're a bit. Sounds like you're a bit delayed. Bit of an echo.
Yeah, sorry, I had YouTube on.
All right, no worries.
Oh.
Right. How are you then? Are you all right?
Yeah, all good, mate.
Yeah, good. I brought an album today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am. Where is it? There it is. Saw this in the record shop, and you know what? I've got it already. I've got about 2 copies of this, and when I saw it, I thought, oh, I realised that it was an 80s press, a bit different to what I've got,
Yeah.
And it was reasonably cheap, wasn't too expensive. You thought, you know what? Because of Brian passing away recently, I'm gonna buy it and bring him home and give it a spin, just for the sake of it. So another copy of Pet Sounds.
How's my internet tonight? Is it good?
Seems all right. Yeah, seems okay now. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit dark, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's the best light I got. I'm at my parents' house at the moment, so.
Oh, are you? Okay, really.
I pulled all my vinyl for tonight, carried it with me in a bag.
Well done, good man. You put some quite a lot of effort in, and if that's the case, then let's get it done.
You know me, it's either everything or nothing.
That's right. So just briefly talking about Brian Wilson before we go on to great albums, etc. This album, Peer Pressure, was kind of like not his very last, but his last proper album, and this came out in 2015. No Peer Pressure, and it is good, really, really good actually. Some really decent tracks on here. It features many different artists all over the place, as well as El Jardine, of course, was a part of the Beach Boys, and on a few others. So I recommend picking this up because it's got some really decent tracks on here. I think it's probably his best album he's done, and I recommend that one. Anyway, shut the door 1 second. Right, yes, great albums. Well, I just showed you the Pet Sounds, the Beach Boys of the Pet Sounds, which is just a classic album. I think it was '66. This came out a little bit before Sgt. Pepper. It really kind of inspired them and kicked the Beatles onto making the Sgt. Pepper album. And I think even today it's Paul McCartney's favourite album of all time, and I highly regard it in my estimation as perhaps one of the greatest albums, if not the greatest album of all time. Certainly up there anyway. So yeah, lovely album. Quite psychedelic. All sorts of experimental things going on there where he's blending other instruments. It had a massive, huge production on that album with all sorts of session musicians, and I highly recommend Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys.
I watched the Disney Plus kind of film documentary that they did. I don't know if you've seen it. I
haven't.
It's honestly, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a film with John Cusack, like a documentary kind of film out that Richard from the Tap House was telling me about. So I'm going to check that out tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got it. It's a good movie. Yeah, really good movie. Worth watching. And I think some of the older films they've done. I think they did one in the '80s. The Beach Boys Story or something like that. It was called. That's a good watch as well. So yeah, there's a couple there, at least. Hey, Terry. You're right, mate. In the chat. So, do you want to show an album and take it in turns?
Do you really want to see them?
Yeah, why not? You're here.
Okay. Let's start with one you're not expecting. Snow Patrol.
Yes, Snow Patrol, yes.
So this is Eyes Open. And it had the blockbuster songs on here. You're All I Have, Chasing Cars, Shut Your Eyes, Set the Fire to the Third Bar, Headlights on the Road Dark, Open Your Eyes, The Finish Line. So
that's a good album. It's a solid album. Yeah. Nice. I want that one. I have I got Final Straw in my collection. Where is it? Oh man.
What year do you reckon this came out?
That must have come out 2000 and 2008, I would say.
2006.
No, not too far off.
No. So
yeah.
I remember my favorite one is You're All I Have. That was the first single off this album that got released because it was on. Remember when Zane Lowe was on? Was it Radio 1 in the evenings?
Yeah.
And he was one of the first ones to kind of promote it. So yeah, it's pretty. I thought it'd be a good start, to be honest.
That is a good start. I do prefer this one.
I had a feeling you might.
Because I just think it's it's got the classic track on that album you shown.
Yeah.
But I think the first 6 tracks at least on here are excellent, and I don't think you can really deny how good How to Be Dead, Wow, Gleaming Auction, Whatever's Left, Spitting Games, and Chocolate, and even the second half of the album, Run, you know, not quite as strong as the first half, but certainly those first 6 tracks are very, very good on here.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on the greatest hits because it's not happening. So I was like, right, if I'm going to buy one,
Yeah,
I went with that one with Chasing Cars for me because I just thought,
it's got to be one of the two, hasn't it? I think.
yeah, Run's a good song though. I remember watching, they're in Leeds or Reading Festival, and he started playing it, and the crowd just sang the song. He didn't have to sing. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you regard their later stuff? I don't really sort of have that much interest in it, really. But I don't know if you did.
It's one of them bands that were good when they first came out. It kind of reminds me a bit of Travis, where Travis were really good when they first came out, and they just kind of, I don't know.
I don't know. The debut album wasn't quite that good. I think they already sort of hit up there until sort of The Man Who, wasn't it? And then it was just...
Sorry, I keep forgetting that wasn't the first album. Yeah, so when The Man Who came out, and then you had the other album after that. It was I know one of the songs was "Flowers in the Window." I can't remember the name of the album though, but
I know.
I was hoping for a record store to do that because they brought the singles out on CD with Travis, Singles So Far or something. It's kind of like the Blur situation we were talking about the other day. It'd be good to have kind of the best of, I think, of that kind of band.
Yeah, we desperately need that, don't we? So, in the world of vinyl.
I sound like a bad record. I keep saying it, but I'm just like, if anybody's listening that works in the industry, please just give us record store day.
Please. Yeah. The best of Blur. Make it happen. I mean, it's going to sell like no tomorrow, isn't it? It's a killer album. Even if they don't make the same Best of Blur, which came out in 2000, if they don't do that and just do another greatest hits or comp,
do something.
Give us that then. You know, with some of their later tunes on it. You know, maybe some of the songs from the Darren, that album.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
We'll see, mate.
Right. Moving on. I do consider this one as a bit of a modern classic, and that is Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory.
Damn it.
Yes. Good man. Good man. Classic. I suppose it's new metal. Comes under new metal, doesn't it, Linkin Park? As a genre.
You've got the same inside as me.
This one's sealed, so I can't. So I not even played it yet.
Rip it.
I will do. But classic album. It's good from start to finish, isn't it? And it's got everything, and it's rock, it's rap, it's so confused so well together in this album, isn't it? I don't think there's any album which has both those elements done quite so well and so aggressively as this album.
I remember when a long time ago when this first came out, I remember a few of the boys, we used to have karaoke on a Sunday night in the local pub, and two of the boys, one used to do the rapping, the other one used to do the singing too in the end. It was really good, actually.
I can remember when this came out, it was more or less at the time when Limp Bizkit released Chocolate Starfish, their album. And I was in school at the time. And there was a bit of divide in the classroom of who sort of was your favourite, Linkin Park or Limp Bizkit. And being that Limp Bizkit was the first album I heard because my brother brought it, I was kind of on that side. But when I heard this, I thought, yeah, this is good. And I think this has aged a lot better than the Chocolate Starfish album. Way better. I mean, I gave that a listen a little while ago. I thought, I can't hear no more of it. You know, it's over with. And this is the winner. There's no doubt about that. So, you show something then, Chris.
Right.
You would,
have a look. So many people have actually got this album. I know Steve Carlson's got this album. He showed it the other day.
All right. Electric
This is
Six.
Electric Six.
That's a blast from the past.
This is called Fire. So I haven't heard any of the music from them apart from when this album first came out.
Right. Did you own the CD?
I did actually back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry for the glare.
That's all right.
So you got some beasts on here, mate.
It's got some bangers on that album, hasn't it?
So
And they're really out there, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. So you got Dance Commander.
I remember. That's the first one, yeah.
One of my favorite tracks is called "Naked Pictures of Your Mother." Danger, High Voltage.
Oh god, that was a big hit, wasn't it? Yeah. I can remember the music videos as well. I mean, they were quite raunchy as well, weren't they?
They were out there, weren't they? Yeah,
They were. Yeah.
And then the other, you had Nuclear War, I Am the Bomb, and then the massive one was Gay Bar.
Yeah. Yeah. I can remember my brothers and his mates in the pub getting pissed up when we were all sort of singing that, yelling it out to each other. Like, I'll take it to a gay bar.
Do you know what I thought they were saying first come out? I thought they were saying game bar.
Game bar.
I was just going around like Cardiff singing game bar. People just going,
what? What about?
So this one was just on black vinyl. This is a 20th anniversary reissue. Hey, Rich.
Hi, Rich.
Howdy.
Just
Nice
showing
for you to join us.
What's that?
It's nice for you to join us.
Thanks. And thank you for having me.
Good to
just
see you
showing,
again.
just showing
Sorry
this one,
I'm
Rich.
slightly late.
That's right. Yep, Electric Six.
Ooh.
So that's my third choice? Second choice.
Doesn't have to be a.
We'll
doesn't
show
have to be an
we'll
order.
show Linkin Park later when new people have joined.
Yeah. A revisit.
But yeah, I remember the music videos for this. This was insane. So, what's the comment saying, mate? I can't. It's not showing up on my side. Don't know why.
Gym quality mostly, but also YouTube can remove stuff. I think he's talking to someone else.
Okay. There was one up there asking about.
Only album of theirs I love was Rings Around the World, Ollie.
There was another one asking about super furry animals, a bit further up, I think.
Yeah. Ollie Perry. Do you have any super furry animals on LP?
I don't.
No. I've got a 7-inch single.
Have you got any CDs of super furry animals?
I have,
That's
yeah.
Have you seen the Type 12? I can imagine you buying at a car boot sale or something, seeing super furry animals going, yeah.
I think I picked up a couple from the charity shop.
Yeah.
Past whatever years. Do you want to see them? I can probably grab them.
Yeah, you can do it a bit if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Whilst Richard is getting ready to show whatever's.
I'm trying.
Let's have a look. Right. There it is.
It's funny how you guys were talking about Snow Patrol, and Chris and I were chatting on Instagram earlier about them. And I looked for my Snow Patrol albums. I can't find them. I'm like, they must be misfiled somewhere. It's like, I know I have like 3 or 4.
So
I have that one.
Yeah,
I have that one. The one that not Open Season. That's British Sea Patrol. The one that Simon showed. I have that one too.
Yeah.
But some of their later stuff is really good too.
Is it better with a light like this, Rich?
The Violence album is fantastic.
Well,
Simon, I think the light is better when I close the blinds, to be honest. Because
whatever.
I can see your face. Woo.
no, that's enough.
Yeah, nobody wants to
You
see
know what?
that. Okay.
I thought I could find them, but I can't at the moment. So sorry.
It's okay. Jim NFL 7 is asking, find videos of Nintendo NFL 12 my card collection. You haven't shown that yet, have you, Simon?
Find videos of Nintendo NFL 12. No, you're talking about my console.
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's arrived.
Richard, check this out. This is retro.
I've not unboxed it yet.
Ooh. A live
Okay.
unboxing. What do you want?
So
I'm going to show you now, and I brought it up.
It's amazing. He sent me a picture on WhatsApp, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Right.
All my childhood memories just kept flooding back. I was like, "Oh,
You want one now, don't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah."
Change this light. Hang on.
Right. Okay. Try not to show my address.
Yeah,
I don't want to be bombarded with fan mail.
You have the stalkers around your house.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, that's much better.
Put me on the spot now, Chris, haven't you?
Oh, mate, you know me.
Right.
Rhys Evans was the singer of Super Furry Animals in their early days. Was he really? So Rhys Evans he's been in Twin Town, he was in Notting Hill. So he was living with Hugh Grant in the apartment in Notting Hill, if you remember the film. What else has he been in? I'm trying to think. He's been in quite a few. Was he in the boat that rocked me as well? And they're offshore. He's been in loads of stuff. Yeah, Twin Town, obviously the big one.
Right.
Richard, you need to check that out. Twin Town. That's nuts.
Will do.
I'll send you the trailer.
Ooh, Simon.
Right. So I was after a solution for my little gaming setup. I've got a little old school gaming setup. I'm sort of playing some of the old SNES and Mega Drive games, but I was sort of thinking, well, I don't have a original Nintendo, and I do have a couple of games which I wouldn't mind playing. So I was sort of in what to do. Anyway, I was browsing on Amazon, and I come across a 3-in-1 system which can play Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Mega Drive, and all the multi-regional games which you can play as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of region unlocked, region free. So yeah, picked up this Retrobit Super Retro Trio 3 Plus, and it wasn't too expensive, but over £100, which is probably a little bit more than maybe I would want to pay. But considering you get basically a console 3-in-1, all-in-one solution, and in HD, and can play all your regional games, be it NTSC, USA, and PAL over in Europe, I thought, you know what, I'm going to get that, and I'm going to give it a go when I get it home and set it all up and enjoy it. So there you go. There's other ones they do, but that was seeing the more better deal and more practical, because when you're buying those sort of consoles, you know, maybe from certain websites, you might not necessarily get like the power plug you might need for your country. So going through Amazon was kind of like a safe way of doing it, of getting everything I need for it to be plug and play, basically straight out of the box. That's what I went with. Whoa. That ain't right either.
I find it really funny. We do not have a universal anything for video, gaming, whatever. CDs, I could buy a CD from Russia and it plays. But if I bought a British DVD, I can't play it here without.
Yeah, because originally there was two versions.
Right,
of it.
the whole region thing, because it's all licensing and all this crap, and I don't understand that. Where other things, like you buy a vinyl from England, I could play it here.
Yeah.
But you can't do
Yeah.
that with movies or whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah. I remember I was in America back 1994 time when DVDs were just kind of making their kind of way over. And I was in a store, I can't remember what it was. It went to Walmart or something. And I was there with my dad and stuff and my sister, because we were only small then. And we were looking at all these DVDs, and this guy came over, just to let you know, these don't play in the UK. And we're like,
Right.
oh. Because they're dead cheap as well, Simon. Like pennies. Then.
Yeah. But they are technically of a slightly different format, though, aren't they? Because the USA would be NTSC, which displays differently to what PAL would display as.
Exactly.
So there is that aspect, as well as marketing reasons as well. Say, like the US was issuing a brand new DVD at an exclusive time earlier to maybe the UK was. So that kind of prevents people from sort of jumping in and buying it early from other countries. It's sort of like it sort of protects themselves a little bit, but it is annoying.
It's annoying, and it's capitalist bull.
It is.
It's all about money.
I can feel Richard going off on a tangent in a minute, because I was watching the live stream you did with Rob, and you were on about, I think it was gigs and how many good music that we get first over here, and like the gigs we get over here, because we can pretty much just and you said it's not fair.
Anything. You have to realize, I mean, I've told Chris this. My whole background goes back to England and Scotland. So I feel like I'm almost like I was born and raised in the wrong country. That the heart of everything I enjoy. I like English beer. I like English music. Why do I live in the middle of freaking America? I don't.
Why is this, Richard? Could you elaborate on why this is the way it is? You don't know.
What's better music?
Here's the short story. My father was in the American Air Force, got stationed in England, met my mother outside of Norwich, and they got married, had my sister in England, and then they moved back to the States, and we got stationed in a bunch of different places, and 4 years we were in Germany too. And I feel like the UK blood is stronger on my mother's side.
Right.
But then I found out my entire ancestry goes back to Scotland and Anglo UK. So
there you are. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I like dark beer. I have actually I have two albums, and it goes along with the whole Brian Wilson thing. So can I show those?
Yeah, sure. I'll make you big. I haven't been doing this, have I?
No.
Too big. It's scary. Nobody wants to see this. Beach Boys fans and Brian Wilson fans, to me, there's only two albums that really fit the bill. And of course, Pet Sounds is one of them because of the genius that is Brian Wilson.
Yeah,
this is like one of the most flawless albums that has ever been recorded, full stop. I was so late into getting into this because, I don't know. It just it wasn't in my wheelhouse of like music that I would have gotten into. But then on the other side of it, you have the surfer side of what, the Beach Boys were all about. So for me, two albums that could be better than a greatest hits that would have like maybe a couple of songs. It would have, two songs from Pet Sounds and a bunch of surfer songs. But the Beach Boys' Endless Summer and Pet Sounds.
Is because your dad.
There's Beach Boys and there's too many Brian Wilson albums. What do I pick? Pick those two, and you're done.
Yeah. Didn't you say on Wednesdays that album you picked because your dad used to play it all the time as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with this. This was playing in the house quite often. So
Beach Boys compilations are fantastic, aren't they?
So in December, you could have pre-ordered it. I don't know, they might go up in price now. But the Beach Boys are re-releasing their greatest hits, the best of. that's supposed to be coming out in December. That may be brought forward now, I should imagine.
Yeah, probably. And the price increased.
Oh, mate, it's going to be insane.
Got it too.
Oh.
There we are.
Got my copy. And what else I got on modern vinyl? Oh yes, Girl as well, Beach Boys.
Good one.
So yeah, I don't have much new Beach Boys stuff, but I have a few pieces.
So Terry's saying that Brian finally released Smile, which he loves.
See, and I don't have that. I don't even have it on CD. I was like,
yeah, but it was kind of an old album which was finished off years later, and it doesn't quite flow how it should do. His voice sounds a little bit aged in it, you know, which it would have done. It would be, being that it's a good 30 odd years later.
Do you want to tell the story, Simon, that you were supposed to go and watch him?
Yeah, I was very, very close of seeing Brian Wilson. He was touring in the UK, or he was about to, and I was literally on the website just about to click the buy button, and I stopped and I thought about it because COVID had just broken out. We're about a week or two into COVID, and I was thinking, it's not going to happen, is it? I don't want to pay for these tickets and for it to either cancel or go and get COVID, basically, because everyone was kind of very anxious and worried about it, being that we were literally a week or two into it, you know. So I thought, no, I probably better not, you know. But I was literally about to press. Anyway, a week or two passed, and he announced that the tour was cancelled because of his back problems, not COVID. It was his back problems. This was what was written up, and he had an operation done on his back, and he was okay for some time, but now he started to get these aches and pains and things, and needed either another operation or something. So, but anyway, he cancelled it regardless. So, you know, maybe just as well, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, otherwise, you know, I can't say I would have definitely seen him, but you know, I was pretty close. I like to think, but it's one of those things, isn't it?
So Terry's saying avoid 20 Golden Greatest Hits Beach Boys, badly mixed. I think he's a fan of it. So
yeah, that's the really old one, wasn't it? It was something that will come out in the late 70s, wasn't it, or early 80s?
I did buy that off eBay. And it was probably the most scratched record I have ever had for £5. I should have known at £5.
It's a pound by that one, isn't it? It's often in charity shops and things. But I actually have the blue version, the blue vinyl of that. I have a black vinyl and a blue one, which is limited edition. But I can't say that it plays any better than the black one because it probably doesn't. So you know, just the.
There's been so many live streams this week. It's been, what do we have? Okay, let me think. Wednesday, Northern Revolutions. Thursday with Ian, RTO.
Yeah.
Tonight with Dale. Sunday with me.
Yeah.
I'm literally going through my collection going, I need to buy more records.
Sunday's a good spot to have, because Sunday's quite an easy day to do a live stream, I think.
Yeah,
so
that's why I picked Sunday, to be honest, because I don't work Sundays. I will work Mondays. I work one weekend in 3, so it's kind of I decide to get the Monday off.
Will that continue with your new job then?
Yes.
When you
don't work Sundays.
Cool. I will look forward to your live stream then.
So it's just come up with ideas. You know what it's like? It's like, what are we doing this week? Any ideas? So, yeah.
Right. Moving on, shall we? An album you need in your collection, I'd say, the greatest hits. I know you own, Chris, and that's a brilliant greatest hits. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel you need a little bit more regarding where Tom Petty is concerned.
Okay.
I reckon Full Moon Fever is a must. It's a classic album. Came out very late 80s, 89, I think. It's considered a solo Tom Petty, because obviously it doesn't say Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, but they do play on it. They are very much involved in this album, regardless of what it says. Much to they weren't happy to be that way. Actually, there was a bit of an upset in the band that they were kind of felt a bit used, but nevertheless, it's a great album. So yeah, Full Moon Fever, Tom Petty.
I've been very tempted to go down the Tom Petty rabbit hole. That is one of the albums I feel like, because I bought the greatest hits just as a starting point for me. Because I just thought if I like that, then I'll go with that. So I'm just thinking, yeah, I got sidetracked there, and I was like,
sorry.
I can see it coming up in the chat, and I was just like, I saw Chris. So yeah, that's the next album I want to get. I want to get Wildflowers, because I discovered that in lockdown. I think I discussed this a few weeks ago.
It's a nice album, that was.
Yeah, I'm not going to go down the box set situation because but I'll probably just step by step. It's kind of like the band for me, like Bob Dylan's The Band. I'm into them at the moment. So, but I got my hands in so many pies, so I'm like kind of like Bruce Springsteen, you know.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I think you have to sort of pick these things out as you go. I don't think there's much. People pick the box sets. Just sort of take your time and pick certain ones and build up your collection. Really,
So I feel sorry for anybody who's like, I'm 60, so you guys are roughly half my age. I'm kitty. You guys coming into, like, we're talking about Tom Petty. I came into Tom Petty when Damn the Torpedoes came out. And I was like, this is an epic album. Oh my God. So I bought Damn the Torpedoes. And then Southern Accents came out and Hard Promises came out. And then for me, it just kind of tapered off. And then that album came out and I was like, oh yeah, Tom Petty, kind of forgot about him, got back into him. So it's kind of like this for me in history. You guys have the entire discography to pick from, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Can you understand now why I buy greatest hits?
Well, anyone sort of like young growing up today have got like 50 odd years of catching up with music. I mean, more than that, 70 years going back to the 50s. I mean,
it's crazy.
That's a lot, isn't it?
I was talking to Richard earlier on about the prices of vinyl records, and like, if you're starting now, good luck.
Yeah.
So, talking about Tom Petty, there's one of my favorite artists covered one of his songs, Free Falling. It's not on this album, but I just thought I'd mention it. So, I think you guys know that this is my favorite artist of all time. I know it's not the Stereophonics, because that's a band. It is Mr. John Mayer. Got into John back in 2007 when I used to work on cruise ships in America. And he was quite big out there. And this album, I downloaded off the Internet Cafe Manager, who had LimeWire at the time. And one of the albums on my iPod was this. And I've seen John. I saw John live last year in Dublin for St. Patrick's Day. And he'd done an acoustic guitar piano set. And he was absolutely phenomenal. Him on the guitar, he's just outstanding. If you haven't seen the YouTube clip with him and B.B. King, go and check it out. It's amazing. But yeah, this is pretty much, it's an amazing album from start to finish. I couldn't pick one John Mayer album of such, but this comes pretty close to the best of him. So you've got songs like Heartbreak Warfare, Half My Heart, Who Says, one of the lyrics on Who Says is, Who Says I Can't Get Stoned? Which I thought was amazing. Perfectly Lonely, Crossroads, War of My Life, Edge of Desire, Friends, Lovers, or Nothing. So this is produced by John Mayer and Steve Jordan. Amazing album. So if anybody wants to get into John, I recommend starting there. Not what you were thinking I was going to pull, but I'd done the connection with Tom Petty because he covered it, and it's on his Live at Los Angeles album, and he was saying afterwards that the youngsters think that he sang it, not Tom Petty. So, yeah,
he's not someone I'm familiar with, really. I don't know don't know him at all, so I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah, I discovered him because he's big in America and Asia. You know, he's got his own radio show now where he gets artists on I can't remember the name of the radio station, SFSX something. I don't know. Anyway, he's on there, he has guests on, and I love John. He's just the music. He's that voice is very smooth, and the guitar work. You know, it's he's done so many tracks. The last one I bought was called Sob Rock, which is kind of like, if you haven't listened to it, it's got that 80s theme. Yeah, it's like, try Sob Rock. It's kind of, one of the videos is Last Train Home, and he's in a classic Porsche car from the 80s, and he's got Sob Rock on cassette, and he puts it in, and he goes, "Welcome to Sob Rock," and he's got like this long hair, the pink guitar from the 80s is brilliant. So
Yes. Over to you then, Richard.
Say what?
Over to you.
Over to me? Ooh, do you want newer or older?
Whatever you fancy. Whatever.
I brought a little bit of both. So, are either of you familiar with 8 Vinyl Low, Emma, who lives outside of Chicago?
Yep. Yeah, I know her. Yeah, she came onto your first live stream, did she not?
One of several, and she and I did the whole Bob Mould thing.
That's right. Yeah.
But she's a huge Cheap Trick fan.
yes,
And
Yes.
looking at the whole entire discography of Cheap Trick, for me, there's only one album you need. They do have a greatest hits. If not, they have probably an essentials and a greatest hits and 20 others. But there's only one that you need, and it's Budokan. Full stop. She would probably disagree with me and say, "Oh, you have to get the first album," because I know that's her favorite. This was my introduction to Cheap Trick back in the 70s. It was after this came out, but Ain't That a Shame was huge on the radio. But, looking, the track listing on this kind of covers all of their early stuff and then a few songs that were kind of, up and coming, if you will. But this is most definitely a greatest hits of Cheap Trick of their early years anyway. But for me, a greatest hits of Cheap Trick now might be very different from what I grew up with, but for me that's quintessential because it just has all of the biggest stuff, and it's one of those albums you play from beginning to end, both sides. That one, I have that on CD. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it has the Dream Police stuff, which is good. I like Dream Police too. But just saying, early Cheap Trick for me is quintessential Cheap Trick, and that's the way to go. Another artist I'll talk about in it, but same thing, where it's like the early stuff is good, but given their whole body of work, it's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah, I do have one of their albums, but I couldn't really get into it. Maybe I didn't give it enough time. But
I know
maybe that's what I
Want
need.
You to Want Me. That was a big one, wasn't it? I remember that. Like, I don't remember when it came out, but that's what the tracks.
But I look at myself now at 60, and the number of rabbit holes I'm going down. It's like I can't imagine anybody going, "Oh, I want to get into this band from the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, whatever." Where do you start? And
I don't know. I think most people, it's kind of all over the place, isn't it?
It's probably why more youngsters are getting into CDs.
I think young people are more into the songs than they are the albums, aren't they?
If they were
True.
remember when singles on CDs came out back in the day, they'd be all over it today. The singles.
Yeah, I imagine so.
it seems to me what's happening now is that streaming and shuffle has taken over, where you just like, "Oh, I want to hear 70s songs," shuffle, and you get 10 years worth of whatever.
Well, I've actually created on Apple
Yeah.
Music, every time I go on YouTube and I watch a video of Richard or Rob or Simon or whoever, right? I've created a playlist on Apple Music called YouTube Creators, and I'm adding it to my playlist. So when I'm in the car, then I'm playing the songs, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm clicking on the album to listen to the album. So yeah,
The shuffle is a good way of going through without having to sort of the headache of choosing, isn't it? It's a quick answer.
Totally.
But I do think, like, if you are kind of just invested in listening to just the hits, which often this is the case for young listeners getting into music, and some of us, collectors who are just typically buy compilations and what have you, you miss out, and you miss out on the album, and you can have an emotional attachment to an album which you can't really achieve via a compilation as much.
Yes.
I think you can love a greatest hits, and this is great, but you get more from an album. That you get in the whole artist's art form in an album, which you don't get in a put together package of a greatest hits.
well, I bought Pulp's new album the other day. It's
Oh, did you?
yeah, it's so today I love the album. Yesterday I wasn't fussed. The day before I hated it. Tomorrow I might be. It's one of them. It's kind of. Am I going to like it today? Because I was talking to Richard, not this Richard, who's got the record shop in Tembe, and he was like, "Yes," he said, "I have the same feeling." He said, "I put it on yesterday, loved it. Put it on today, can't stand it." He said, "I don't know what it is about the album, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's all over the shop."
But he is quite different, though, isn't he? And he is notably all over the place in his albums, isn't he?
Yeah,
He has a history of it.
yeah. I think most people know Pulp from like Common People and that kind of stuff, but you can hear his voice is a lot deeper now.
Oh, distinctive.
Yeah.
It's different. Like he hasn't sung for like 10 years plus, maybe.
Yeah.
At this point, when was the last time Pulp brought up an album? He'll always be remembered for dancing on stage with Michael Jackson, but at the Brit Awards. But that's a different story. Yeah.
He will. Yeah. Remembered for all the wrong reasons. But I was a bit surprised to hear that he released a new album. I thought, well, where did that come from? This does happen quite a lot. Years go by where we get these artists just pop out, just spring up a new album. Where did that come from?
I was literally, because I run the channel for Dale's in Tembe. There's a little plug, Dale's Tembe Music Shop. They got a YouTube channel which I'm running, and he sends me videos on WhatsApp. Can you put this up? Can you put this up? Can you, I said, just send me stuff. And he sent me Pulp, and I was like, wait, hang on. What do you mean, Pulp? And he's like, oh yeah, it's on green and blue. I was like, I'm having the blue. I listened to one track on Apple Music because that was all available at the time. And I was like, this is really good. The first track on the album. And then I brought it home. I listened to it, and I was like, okay, I'll listen to it again. Then I listened to it again. I go, oh, that's brilliant. And then I listened to it again. So I'm still,
Which reminds me, I need Dale's shopping bag to put on my wall. So, right,
mate, I'm going
to make that happen.
Okay, so I will be going down tomorrow. I will get you a. What do you want? He hasn't got a Dale's shopping bag at the moment. He can't get them at the moment because they don't make them in the UK. So he's got to get them from China.
There's no hurry.
So, but I will get you a slip mat that says Dale's on it.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. So, I was talking to Richard earlier on, and my Oasis pre-order on Amazon, they've pretty much nearly cancelled it, saying it's not available till the end of the month.
Right.
So I was like, oh, fuck this. So I went to go and see him, and he said, look, because you do the videos for me, it'll cost you as much as it cost me to buy it. Right. The new Oasis box set. I was like, great, brilliant. So I'm picking that up tomorrow. So when I go down, I will get you a slip mat. No worries, mate.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Right. Yes, going back to Tom Petty. he has many great albums. I think his debut with Glass is a great album. Down the Torpedoes is another. Forming Fever, of course, which is the one I've shown. But there's one particular album which I think is very overlooked and underappreciated, and that is his album he released in 1999, Echo.
Never ever seen that ever before.
I've not heard it.
It's really, really good. A lot of people kind of dismiss it, you know, like, I don't think about it too much, but I think this is an excellent album. I think it's got some solid tracks on here. Room at the Top being the first one, Counting on You, Free Girl Now, Lonesome Sundown, Swinging was a hit. I think that's a really solid song, Swinging. Side 2, not quite as good as side 1. Accused of Love, Echo, Won't Last Long, Billy the Kid, I Don't Want to Fight is on here, which is sung by Mike Campbell, who actually sings on this one, I Don't Want to Fight, and it rocks. It's loud. It just actually, it really is a great belter of a song. I Don't Want to Fight. Next one is This One's For Me. Nice song. No More. Nice song. It kind of weakens as the album goes out. It's not quite as strong as it starts. Like they tend to be that way, don't they? Albums, they tend to get a little bit more weaker as they go, but yet a really good album. And if you haven't got Echo, a lot of these songs, I would say perhaps every song on here doesn't feature on the greatest hits, so you are getting an extended Tom Petty set of songs with this album, which you won't necessarily get with the compilations. So I recommend getting it.
So Mike Campbell brought out an album either this year or last year, I believe, a solo album, and they had some members of the Heartbreakers kind of on there, and it sounded like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, to be honest. It was kind of like,
the Dirty Knobs was his band, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, they're okay, you know, they're all right.
When did Echo come out?
99.
99.
Yeah, 99. The 90s were great, weren't they? They had some great music in the 90s. Yes. Yeah, Highway Companion is okay. Yeah, I agree. Not my favourite, but yeah, it's good. Right, Chris, over to you.
I'm going to be very controversial now. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Sorry. So I'm going to be very controversial now. This guy has made 5 albums, I believe, and they've always got a good song on it, but it's not a really strong album, and I feel this album is the strongest one he's ever done. He's got an amazing voice. He has been at the Super Bowl singing the American national anthem. Richard, any ideas who it is?
No. I'm like, who?
So this is Chris Stapleton.
I would have never guessed.
This is called Higher. This is an amazing bloody album from start to finish. It's outstanding. I absolutely love it. I put it on at least once a week, this one. And you can see Chris there with the cowboy hat on. He's got an amazing voice. Have you heard of him before, Simon?
No, I haven't. No.
So it's absolutely fantastic. Like, you got all the lyrics inside. There's the back. It shows actually 1, 2, 3. So this is 4th album, sorry. So it shows his albums at the bottom.
Right.
But you got some absolute, like, what am I going to do? South of Dakota, Trust, It Takes a Woman, The Fire. White Horse was a massive one. Higher. Crosswind, Mountains on My Mind. It's just brilliant. Like, I got into country music a few years ago. I used to listen to Zac Brown Band, and then he was Zach Bryan and that kind of music. But this album, from start to finish, it's just continues with his amazing voice guitar, and he's not that kind of singer to scream. He's just got that. He sounds like he's been drinking whiskey. That voice, raspy voice, going forward. What do you think, Rich? Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
So, as you know me, I'm a bit of a killer for coloured vinyl. So, this doesn't do it any justice, but it's on like a
Greenish
green vinyl,
bluish.
That's different.
see-through green. I pre-ordered this on his website when I had the email coming through saying, because I was talking to Liz about it, I was like, I gotta get a Chris Stapleton album at some point. But I listened to the album itself. That's the same as well. It's on green. And I was like, it's not a complete album. It's more like one or two singles. But this one, from start to finish, was absolutely. It's a fly just flew through my head. It's pissing down with rain outside. There's flies. I'm like, what's going on? So this album, if anybody wants to start with Chris Stapleton, this is an amazing album to start with. So not what you guys were probably expecting from me, but yeah, I love this guy. He's brilliant.
Southern American?
Yeah. Absolutely tremendous. He used to be in a band, and I can't think what the band was now. But he started off in a band as not even a singer, just a backup guitarist. And he decided to go on his own, and he actually travels with his wife. So his wife is on the songs as well. So yeah,
cool. What's that?
Something completely different for me.
No, that was a good one. I would not have expected that from you at all. And for me, my background with country stems way back to stuff my father was listening to, like, Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard and Glenn Campbell and the 60s country types. But anyway, I'm going to go back to the 70s again. Why not? This band had a ton of hits, and in my opinion, it seemed like they came off of all of one album, and it was their debut album, and that is The Cars.
Yeah.
You don't need a Cars Greatest Hits.
I've got one.
Cars Greatest Hits.
It is a greatest hit.
I've got one. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like everything that came off of this album: Good Times Roll, My Best Friend's Girl, Just What I Needed. It plays as a greatest hits album because it was greatest.
You're absolutely right, Richard. I've got that album, and I had to look twice to see, is it a compilation? Because I was convinced that perhaps it was, but you're right, it isn't.
No, you want to talk about a band that arrived fully formed and solid. It was like they just came out of nowhere and bang. I mean, I'm sure locally from wherever they were from, they had to kind of build their audience. But my God, this unleashed and it took over. It sold millions of copies. Yeah. And
it's a classic.
In my opinion,
It's a classic.
It is a classic. In my opinion, it's like they never did a better album than this. Full stop. NDO is good. Panorama is, and some of their later stuff is all right, but they never did better than this. And that was their very first album. So,
I agree. Yeah, it's a solid one. That one. That's you can't argue with that. That's that is like a greatest hits album. It's so good. So yeah, my next choice, and this is a fantastic album. The Smiths, The Queen Is Dead. Good from start to finish. I think for me, this is perhaps one of the ones to buy of all the Smiths albums. It flows really nicely, this album, better than I think anything they've done, and such hits as The Queen Is Dead, of course. Well, what else was the hit on here? Do you remember, Richard?
Oh God.
Frankly, Shankly, I Know It's Over. Never Had No One Ever. Century Gates, Big Mouth Strikes Again. That was a hit, wasn't it?
That was, yes.
Yeah. The Boy with a Thorn in His Side. Vicar
Yeah,
in a tattoo. Can't quite see that. There is a light that
Never
I
Goes
can't
Out. That was another
No.
one. So they had 4 singles. I think 4 singles off of that.
forward. All right, I didn't know that.
I'm quite
Some
surprised they
people-
haven't done a greatest hits, to be honest.
So, but yeah, I recommend this is a great one to pick up. So, yeah, over to you, Chris.
Right. I pick. I feel like I've got like an American theme going on here.
You have a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, my thing is working in America for like 6-7 years. It kind of affects you. You could call this band. They've got a greatest hits out. You could call them a one-hit wonder, but I just love this album. So I'm gonna get some grief over this. Okay.
You're not going to get any grief.
This is the Fray.
Oh,
now-
yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers this. The album is actually called How to Save a Life, and one of the songs off it was How to Save a Life.
Yep.
So
Big hit.
it's a good album though. Like it is from start to finish. It is a brilliant album. So you've got She Is Over Her Head, How to Save a Life, All at Once, Fall Away. You've got Looking After You. There's another big one that came out after Save a Life. Hundreds, Vienna, Dead Wrong. And then you've got Trust. There's literally like 8 tracks on this. But I love it. So I just thought to myself, screw it. So
I've got it on CD. Yeah, it's a good album.
that's the band.
Do you know where the Fray are from?
I don't know. To be honest with you.
Denver.
Are they
Oh.
actually?
They're a Denver-based band, yeah.
Are they really? Oh, that makes sense now, Rich. That's why I was meant to do this today. And you know me, couldn't pick it on black.
Of
So-
course. Ooh.
I went with
That's nice.
yellow vinyl.
That's nice. Very nice.
So I absolutely loved the song when it came out, How to Save a Life. It reminds me of my time on the cruise ships, I think, because it was on my iPod at the time, and it was quite big in the UK, wasn't it, Simon, at the time? I don't know
They were, yeah.
how
they were.
big it
They
was.
got a lot of airplay, that single, didn't it? Still
Massive.
does.
Was it quite big in America, Rich? Do you know?
They were, I would say they were represented on the radio. The Fray were big, but my thinking, that was their biggest album, and then they just kind of petered off. I think their lead singer left the band. I think they have a new lead singer. The last time I saw them open for U2, and they did their 360 stadium tour, which was humongous. Yeah, that was the only time I've seen the Fray live. And I'll admit, it's not my wheelhouse of music that I gravitate to. So I was like, oh, the Fray are opening for U2.
Yeah.
But it was all right.
I think it's more of a memory for me. It's kind of, I knew what I was at that time when I was listening to that album from start to finish, kind of thing.
Oh,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's the same with that that other album you showed at the very start. Snow
John
Patrol
Mayer.
one. It's
Oh,
the same.
Snow Patrol,
Yeah, it's that little point in time of your life
Yeah.
where you can think back what you were doing, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's not going to be hard for Richard to beat that one, but
That would be hard. I will try, but
I'm waiting for
keep in mind,
Feeder.
I got in here late and I was like pulling albums left and right just before I jumped on. But anyway, are you guys familiar with a group called Black Rebel Motorcycle Club?
Yes.
No,
Love them. Ironically, I discovered them when I was in England. I went to Reading Festival and they were playing, and I was just head over heels. They were on like a side stage with like the Libertines and a bunch of other bands, and Arcade Fire and Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Oh, screw it. I'll stick around and watch
Yeah.
it. and absolutely fell head over heels. This is a fantastic album. They have a lot of albums, and you know, I've seen them a lot of times, and they're kind of samey as far as like their album repertoire. But again, never better matched than their first album. That was this one. So, like, whatever happened to my rock and roll? I mean, the song, to me, that song was huge. This is a vinyl reissue that came out not too long ago. It was a music on vinyl thing with some bonus tracks on a double album. Is it on colored vinyl? Shall we look? No.
Oh,
Sorry.
the anticipation
But
just
it is
kills
a
me.
good soul.
Track is good.
Let's look. Ooh, ah. They're kind of a dark horse group to me because they just keep kind of come across as being like just dark and moody, but on stage they're absolutely electric. I've seen them like 4 or 5 times, and they never fail to disappoint. But for me, also their later albums, they're another one where it's just kind of like, come on, bring it. Their first 2 or 3 albums, I saw them on their Howl tour. That was fantastic. I can't think of the name of the album. It's all white covered, but I think I have almost everything they've done, with an exception of like they have a Live in Paris album that was extortionate amounts of money on vinyl. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. But
I
yeah.
think
One
they
album.
came out in the early 2000s, didn't they? That band, I think,
Whoops.
if I'm right.
Did he?
This was 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah, early.
Yeah, I think they did a lot of Reading festivals, and they may have done kind of Glastonbury, the John Peel stage at some point. I remember hearing about them and a few songs. They came on BBC Radio 1 with Jo Wiley. She was a big fan of it with John Peel as well. Yeah, I remember as soon as you said the name, I was like, yeah, I know who they are.
Good.
Yeah.
Well done. Nice one.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of records I didn't expect to see today. I'm quite surprised. So it's always nice to.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is Chris showing now? What the fuck is this?
So yeah, lot to check out. Right, Chris. You can't dispute this one.
If you pull, okay. There's a funny story behind this, actually, that I discovered today. Go on, go for it. Go on.
It is an outstanding album, isn't it?
It is.
It's an album. I can't give it too many listens, but I like to revisit it maybe every couple of months or whatever.
Yeah.
Space it out. But I still love it regardless. And
Do you prefer that over Holy Bible?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is my favorite out of there.
Yeah. Okay.
They've never made anything as good as this. I mean, they're number ones. These singles, weren't they? The Everlasting, If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next is an outstanding song. Even the deep cuts on here are fantastic. Ready for Drowning, Tsunami, My Little Empire, just great songs. It's a great album from start to finish. Actually, I've been listening to the very last track, SYMM, for some reason. It just sort of came into my head.
I wonder why.
I don't know why. And I was thinking about it. I said, I need to give that a listen. And I've been playing that song every now and then on my iTunes. But regardless of that, it's a great album. So yeah, recommend This Is My Truth, Tell Me Yours by the Manic Street Preachers. Great album.
Shockingly, I have no Manic Street Preachers.
I didn't, yeah. So
I don't know why.
I was telling Richard a little story today.
Yeah, you were.
So, do you want to make me smaller? So I want to see your reaction for this. So, the record store I go to, Nicky Wire, who's the guitarist or bassist or guitarist for Manic Street Preachers, he lives in Tenby. And he goes to Dale's record shop a lot. And I was talking to the owner, Richard, and he said, do you fancy doing an interview with Nicky? I was like, what? Yeah. He was like, oh yeah, he comes in all the time. Every Monday he comes in, buys something, buys a record, buys a t-shirt. He said last week he came in and bought Guns N' Roses. I was like, t-shirt? I was like, what?
Really?
I was describing to Richard's Tap House I was chatting to him earlier on, that he goes on stage and wears a kilt, and you know, he sometimes he wears makeup, and he's kind of you know he is. As soon as he walks on, he's kind of like Nicky Way from the Manic Street Preachers, and the rest of him look like something your dad would wear. You know, the drummer's got the same, you know, Center Parting from the 90s. You know, he just sits there and just plays the drums. But yeah, he said, do you fancy doing it? He said, actually, he said, they've just released a new album. He said, go home tonight, listen to it, see what you think. He said, I got a signed copy in behind the counter if you want it. I was like, right, okay. So I listened to the new album. Do yourself a favor, go and listen to the first track off that new album, Simon.
Right.
The lead singer's not singing, it's Nicky, the guitarist.
Okay.
It's completely different.
Right.
So
Right.
if anybody doesn't know who he is, that's him right there.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's my little story from.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's my turn, is it?
It is your turn.
I don't want to go with the obvious one, which we all know that's going to be. So I'm going to go with a female artist today. So let's get this out. And I went with, I love this album. I think this is all you need from this artist. It's Katie Tunstall. First album.
Yeah, big album.
The Scope. So I don't know if this made it over to America, Rich. But she had some absolute crackers on this. It's kind of like when David Gray made it big with Babylon. That was his, you know, his album. But
Suddenly I See, was that one of hers?
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you got Other Side of the World, Another Place to Fall, Under the Weather, Black Horse and the Cherry Tree, Silent Sea. You've got False Alarm, Suddenly I See, Stopping the Love, Heel Over, Through the Dark. So it's a brilliant album. It's a really good album, mate. Honestly. And she didn't
have it, you know.
She didn't do anything after that, really. The hit-wise, that was it. That was her breakthrough and only album that really made it big, to be honest.
Yeah. I can remember the album coming out, you know, on the shelves and that, but I don't think I ever picked it up.
And of course, I didn't get it on black vinyl, did I? So let's have a quick look. Sorry. Struggling today. Can't feel my bloody fingers. So, red vinyl.
Well, that's bright red, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I just realised how big my head is. That was a 12-inch album. So, yeah. Because I was going through the collection the other day when Simon said he was going to, this is what he was choosing to do. I was kind of going through my collection because, you know, I got a lot of greatest hits. And I just thought, because I put that on the other day and I was like, this is a fantastic album. Like the tracks on there. And she can sing big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I've got to show that one. They're not going to be expected. Like most of the ones I've shown tonight, you're not expecting, like, really. So, yeah, that's Katie Tunstall. Everybody haven't heard of Katie Tunstall, go and check it out. Fantastic. Northern Revolutions. What the hell do you clowns know about records? Oh, here we go. We haven't got any Blue Rodeo. Sorry, mate. Chris with the greatest hits. No way. Oh, here we go.
Chris, I gotta admit you're surprising me because I know you are like the king of best ofs and greatest hits, and you're pulling out the stops. So
he is. He's doing well.
He is doing well.
Wait till we get the Stereophonics.
Darn. I'm gonna piggyback of her because I thought of immediately when you pulled that album, I was like, "Ooh, there's one that struck a chord for me." Canadian artist Rob.
Alanis
Yes.
Morissette. Yes, big album.
I remember when I first heard her voice and her lyrics and her song structure and her visual presence. She is a stunning singer, artist, and just an expressionist. To see her live, I've seen her live 4 times maybe. She's fantastic. Her hair is like down to her butt.
It covers her
basically, or
boobs as
was
well in the
back
music
then.
video. I remember that bit.
She's not worried about going there in her songs,
No.
isn't she? She curses and she talks about things typically aren't spoken about by female artists, and she's very brave that way, I think.
Yeah,
I admire her for that.
vocal. This is like the perfect breakup album to like if you broke up with somebody, play this album because you will find lyrics that will resonate.
She used to
It's
date
fucking
John
paper
Mayer as
form.
well.
But this one came out not too long ago. So yeah, boring black vinyl. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I've got it on the greatest hits, mate. I have.
Wow.
It is a good greatest hits actually, but I couldn't pull it.
What year was that? 95, wasn't it released? That
Gotta
one?
be
Oh,
1996.
Originally.
96. You were close.
That was close.
But yeah, I mean everything on here. This screams greatest hits album. Thank you. Let's go through the whole thing. You want to
Ironic.
know?
Is it Ironic is on there as well?
Ironic.
Yeah.
Hand in Pocket. Oh my god, I love that song. That's one of my favorites she does. I got one hand in my pocket. Yeah. But and then later albums with Thank You. And I mean just all she goes for the heart, she digs and just kind of rips the heart out and throws it away.
I really enjoyed the last album. One of the singles off there is Why I Drink. I don't know if you've viewed it. Absolutely tremendous lyrics on that. Like, and the music video for it. She's like in this session, counseling session. And it's just amazing. Yeah. I am a big fan of her.
I've seen her. Yeah. I've seen her 4 times, and she opened for the Cranberries one year.
I bet that was a hell of a gig, especially with the Cranberries. It's like, what's going on?
And then I saw her at Red Rocks opening with, they kind of co-headlined. It was her and Bare Naked Ladies. That was epic.
Oh, Rob's favorite band.
Right in front too.
I like Bare Naked Ladies. Yeah. Nick Vinyl Butty loves that album as well. He's a big fan. But, anyway, yeah, 2 of the big ones here on the same. I have to show you both because it is Oasis. Definitely, maybe their debut album, groundbreaking debut album, and it's been one of the most. It was the outstanding regarding sales for a debut album, and it had the record for quite a number of years, and I think more recently it lost out to I don't know who it was now, but for a good 20 years this was the best-selling debut album, and I do personally I prefer it over.
Hey Rob, if you're in the chat now, mate, check out these albums that we've covered on my live stream. He's just throwing petrol onto the fire at this point. Go on.
Great albums. I think many people vouch for this one being the better of the 2, and I totally respect that. It is a great album, but for me, this one's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more punk. Liam's vocals are more on the songs on this album than this one's. It's a bit more null.
Yeah, I think the second one they found their feet a bit more, didn't they? They were kind of right. This is the direction we're going in now.
I think with touring with Liam really belting those songs out, it took a toll on his voice, and I think he took a bit of a backseat regarding when this was coming out. That his voice wasn't quite maybe up to it. He maybe needed to give it a bit more rest, and I think Noel kind of stepped in with the singing on a few of these songs. So, but still a classic album, both of them respectively. So, Oasis.
Good call. I agree.
So, I've shown this before, but I was running out of options at this point. So
It was bound to happen.
yeah, it was, wasn't it? To be honest, I was showing Simon my Discogs the other day, and he was like, "Good God, man, what are we going to show?"
Best of, greatest hits.
Yeah. I went with Jet.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, good album. Yeah.
Amazing Australian band that were big when they first came out. They were massive in the UK because they brought out the song "Are You Going to Be My Girl," which was a Vodafone advert, like a cellular company, like AT&T kind of advert, Rich. And it was everywhere when it sang. Like you couldn't get away from the song.
Yeah. There was decent three hits off that album, wasn't there?
So I just like the album. It's a bit grungy. Sorry, this is just on black, but
Not a bad thing, grungy.
so you've got some crackers on you. I'm trying to work out this freaking camera. So you got Last Chance, Are You Going to Be My Girl, Roll Over DJ. Another big one they did in the UK was Look at What You've Done. It was kind of slower one. Because what they do is they start slow, then they go really hard, and they slow down, they go really hard, they slow down, that kind of thing. Get What You Need, Moving On, Radio Song, Get Me Out of Here, Cold Hard Bitch.
Oh, yeah. Killer.
Come Around Again, Take It or Leave It, Lazy Gun, and I picked this one the other day for Ian's naming guys in songs, and it's got Timothy. So that is Jet. That's all you need from Jet, I think, because they brought out, I think, Record Store Day. They brought out this album, but the B-sides to this album, I think Rob has got this as well.
About 2004 that came out of. Around about then, wasn't it? Early 2000.
I'm looking, mate. My eyes have just gone. 2003.
2003.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a 2003 breakthrough debut album. The big ones were Are You Going to Be My Girl, Look What You've Done, and Cold Hard Bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know why
there was a big revival at that kind of time, wasn't there? Those early 2000s. Rock, indie, alternative bands really came onto the scene, didn't they? And it was probably one of the best. I'll say the best era of my life I've experienced was that decade.
I agree.
Look at the artists that were out there from Britain at the time. It was just insane. They're not from Britain, obviously, but the ones who came over as well. Like from Australia. I can't think of
it. As well from America. Big band over here, you know. The Vines as well.
And like the opening riff to Are You Going to Be My Girl? Shit.
Great. Yeah, me and my brother loved it. Yeah.
So
like that whole 2001 to about 2006, it felt like I was just buying everything from all over the world except the United States.
Really? Yeah.
Well, when Ian does his rankings, I think what is he stuck on? This is 19 something. No, the one I saw he done the other week, sorry. So it was 1993, 1994 or something like that. And I was like, the music coming in to Britain, and you were just like, there was not a lot happening in America at the time.
Yeah.
I think you had.
Totally. I always say it was like there was a sort of dead time where it's like I didn't want to listen to anything on the radio. The music videos were shit, and I was like, ugh. Who has good music? And it was all coming out of the UK and Australia.
I think Britain needs a new kind of stream of bands coming through, because there's nothing coming through at the moment. Like I can't think of a new band. I don't know if you guys are the same, but I can't think of a new band that's really made it massive. Like Arctic Monkeys were big on their first album, and then they just tried to be too 1950s hair back, and I'm just like, what are you doing, lads? You're from freaking Manchester. Come on, let's get a grip.
I suppose the latest sort of real big band for me will probably be Wet Leg, but then they've gone quiet, haven't they? So
Yeah.
you know, I think they've taken a bit of a little bit too long hiatus, from my opinion.
There is a new album coming out with them. I know that.
There is, yeah.
Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Where does the name Wet Leg come from?
I can't remember. Don't know. I wouldn't like to go there anyway.
I think it's something to do with
for something.
it's probably something to do with the weather.
Well,
Who knows?
I saw them supporting the Foo Fighters in Cardiff.
Ooh, nice.
So I only knew one song, which was their last song.
That's all you
Then
need.
I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then Dave came on and went, "Fuck you!" Just started thrashing. I was like, yeah. But I
No,
love the Foo Fighters.
what I'm dealing with, it seems of recent, it's like bands that I used to absolutely love, like the Arctic Monkeys, their first like 2, 3, maybe 4 albums that I really loved, and then it just their sound changed, and in my impression, just not for the better. And I can think of a couple of others. This band has not done that, but anyway, another UK band that I adore that never really made it big in the States, despite the fact that I actually saw them in the States. Go figure. Are you ready?
Ready for the drum roll?
yeah.
Oh, I thought he was going to go with Feeder. Right, okay.
Brilliant.
I thought about that,
Yeah.
but I show Feeder all the freaking time, so I figured, I better do something different.
Nobody owns any Feeder albums anyway.
This album is
expensive.
so flipping good.
Has that got the single
Hits for
Fire?
days. That
There's
was
a lot of hits off there, weren't there? Clubfoot, Protest
Yeah.
Beat, Reason is Treason, yeah. LSF,
Yeah.
Cut Off,
Cut Off,
Yeah.
yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
And this is stunning. I fell in love with this the minute and again, I look back in those early 2000s, like, where was I hearing all this music? It had to have been on like the early days of the internet and downloading stuff, or I don't know what, because YouTube wasn't a thing yet. But I've heard this and I was like, I have to get this. This album was released in the States until probably like 3 years after the fact.
When that came out, for me, indie changed because I couldn't quite work out what that was. How you class that type of music with the electric elements in that kind of style. But when that came out, I think the whole scene changed, I think, didn't it? Regarding indie music. Yeah.
And groups like this, and groups like The Music, and groups like some of those like later Manchester bands that I still to this day love, and this kind of set the tone for that. So thank you.
I agree.
Yeah, they are a good band. I know they haven't got the original lead singer anymore, because he's
I haven't followed them too much.
He's left a while ago. But my favorite Kasabian song is Fire. I'm on fire.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Right, going back a number of years, then I'm going to show a couple of classic albums here now. Pink Floyd,
Of course.
Dark Side of the Moon. Don't really need to say too much about this album. It is a classic, and if you haven't got it, buy it right away. In fact, leave your home right now, head into town, and pick it up.
Okay, cheers, lads.
Yes, you can. So, say no more.
That's all you need. Pink Floyd.
Back to music. Right.
Back to you.
Okay. I think you know what's coming next. So let's just get it on done with.
Stereophonics.
It absolutely is, mate. And it's their debut album, Word Gets Around.
Interesting.
Really. So there's some bangers on you.
There is.
So you've got 1,000 Trees, More Life Than Transvest, Local Boy and Photograph, Traffic, Same Size Feet, Last the Big Time Drinkers, Goldfish Bowl, Too Many Sandwiches, Billy Davies' Daughter.
Yeah, it's a great album.
I
and
love it.
I think Traffic is their best
Rock
song
with
they
that.
ever done.
Have you, Richard? You need to listen to the song "Traffic." It's just picture yourself in a Welsh town, small Welsh town, and everybody knows everybody's business, and it's kind of like that.
I've lived in towns that small. I've lived in a one traffic light town for several years. So
I think it's probably their best song they've done, Traffic, and they've done a lot of good songs, haven't they?
So there's the band practicing in the local ex-servicemen's club in Cwmaman in Aberdeen.
cool.
So the Stereophonics' original name was called the Tragic Love Company.
Cool name.
So this is on black vinyl. I've also got it on gold vinyl. So I wasn't risking carrying that. So
No.
I went with the black vinyl on this one. It's a pretty cool cover actually, because it's got sign language at the top, and it's got somebody hanging themselves. If you listen to the album, this will make more sense to you.
Yeah, it's a bit dark, isn't it? I think.
So there's a lot about suicide and 1,000 trees. It only takes one match to burn 1,000 matches.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Well,
got
the casual listener wouldn't pick up on those.
no. Local Boy in the Photograph is about Kelly's best mate who committed suicide while walking in front of a train. Like he talks about his mate. You'll always be 23. It's
But it's a great album.
Well, I had to show it, mate. So
Of course you did.
if it was the Phonics always do great story albums, I
Yeah.
find. They kind of went off track a while, I've got to be honest. But the last album they brought out, I thought it was phenomenal.
That's their debut one, isn't it?
That is their debut album.
Yeah.
That came out in 1997. So a little
Yeah.
backstory.
I prefer the follow-up to the first album. But
Okay, that's coming. Just move on.
but I think their third album is better than the second.
The third album.
Yeah, the third
I
one.
did. Yeah, I showed that in my video.
Yeah.
Was it last week? Because I told the backstory about Stuart, the drummer, and they just go and watch it. Just subscribe to the channel and go and watch it. You go on. You know you're doing.
We have.
Now, I was late, really, really late to the game with Stereophonics. They were like a band whose name I've heard of, but just never.
I wonder whose fault that is, Richard.
Say what?
I wonder whose fault it was that you got into the Stereophonics.
Some channel called the Vinyl Man.
Yeah, I've been nagging you for months, Simon.
I really do love that box that I bought because
Yeah.
it was a bargain for what it was, and it has everything under the sun on
Yeah.
there. Okay, is it my turn?
It's your turn, yeah.
All right, one of my favorite bands out of Scotland, and I have many favorite bands out of Scotland. Despite the teeny weeny country that it is, it cranks out some really amazing and very dark music. But I absolutely love the Twilight Sad. And that's pretty much explains what the Twilight Sad are like. Robert Smith's of The Cure's favorite band is the Twilight Sad. They've opened for The Cure for years. I've seen them open for The Cure, and their show dramatically changed because they were opening for The Cure. They got a lot more animated and, if anything, darker. I love this band just because lyrically they're dark, but they're uplifting at the same time. How many times have I seen them? I saw them when I went. One of the first times I went to London was on their debut album, which is not this one. They were playing at the 100 Club, and it's like, where the hell is the 100 Club? And it's off of Oxford Street, down the basement, whatever. It's where the Sex Pistols first played. Sure, I'll go. Oh my God, I fell in love with them well before that. It took me a while to get their stuff because it was hard to find. Now they're finally internationally acclaimed enough that their albums are coming out. This is my favorite album by them. It is called Nobody Wants to Be Here and No One Wants to Leave. And it has what is my favorite song they have ever done. It was called It Never Was the Same. And they've done some acoustic versions of this live and other incarnations of it. Majestic sounding. Their lead singer, James, I can't think what his last name is. Ay! I'm terrible. I got into them sort of because of the whole shoegazy thing. They have a lot of reverb-based guitar work going in here, but their sound just got bigger and bigger as they've gotten more established. This is a fantastic album, and I would consider it one of their greatest. It would be a good place to start and a greatest hits of what they're doing. This is by far, my opinion, their best album. But yeah, saw them open for The Cure, saw them at the 100 Club, saw them in small venues here in Denver. One time they opened for Frightened Rabbit, who is another band that I love out of Scotland. Yeah, I can't say enough about them. So
I thought you were going to go with Biffy Clyro.
What?
When you said Scotland, I was like,
I still have a small pile over here that may show up.
Yeah, I haven't, because I've dragged this like halfway through the country just for Simon's live stream tonight. I couldn't carry that much with me.
You did. Very dedicated, are you tonight, Chris? Right. I'm going to show 3 albums by 3 different artists because I've got a lot here to go through. So I thought this will speed things up a little bit. Okay. So some classic albums to pick up. Boston.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Classic album.
Only album you need.
Very, very powerful. A lot of great songs. Arguably a greatest hits. Arguably. Worth picking up if you can find this. And it's a relatively cheap album to pick up, I think, in the UK. Maybe £5 you could pay for this. It's a bargain, to be honest with you. So yeah, Boston. The Boston album. Can't really do a live stream without showing at least one Beatles. And my favourite Beatles, as many people know, is Sgt. Pepper, Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Okay.
This, for me, is their best album, and I think it's considered many by their best album, but I think that opinion is changing in the last maybe 10 years or so. For maybe some of their later albums, such as Abbey Road. But for me, this is the best. This is the psychedelic album, and it is great. And yeah, by far my favourite of the Beatles.
I thought you were going to pull the Butcher's cover then. I was waiting for it. I was like, yeah.
No, I don't have that. No. not interested in that. Another classic album, American artist, Steely Dan, Asia. Great album, as Richard appreciates. Great songs, Black Cow, Asia, Deacon Blues, Peg. Not many tracks, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 songs, but solid. Chris, buy it. It's really good.
Yes, sir.
So
I'll second that. That is by far their best album, my opinion. So.
I agree. Yeah, over to you, Chris.
So this was really hard for me because I've got 150 albums and 10 that weren't greatest hits.
It's running a bit dry now, is it?
So this is my last one. But but I'm not afraid to give a boost or feedback. So I couldn't choose the best Stereophonics album, so I kind of cheated a bit. Sorry, but I feel like I need to show this one.
It's a great album.
I want the cover of that album so much, and I can't find it.
A Minute Longer is a great deep cut off that album. It really is a great song. It
means a lot more to me than the first album, believe it or not. So the first ever gig I went to was for this album, and it was in Morpher Stadium in Swansea, and there was over 80,000 people there.
Wow.
And after that was the old Swansea City football stadium grounds, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
And after this gig finished, they demolished it.
Hmm.
So everybody thinks that's Kelly. It's not. It's actually his brother. So
Right.
necking some random model. Because if you look closely on the other side, Kelly is walking past.
Oh.
I love how disinterested she is on that front cover.
Yeah, and you got Richard there,
Yeah.
the bassist. And then you got Stuart there, randomly walking past. So, yeah. This is on black vinyl. I've got this on... What colour vinyl? Orange in the house. So, yeah, we've got Roll Up and Shine, massive one. Rich, you need to check this one. Bartender and the Thief. Have you heard that one? Have you listened to that
Yeah,
yet?
yeah,
Hurry Up and Wait, amazing song. It's one of my
yeah. It's
favourites
a great
ever.
song.
Pick Apart This New, Just Looking, Half the Lies You Tell Aren't True, I Wouldn't Believe Your Radio, T-shirt Suntan, Is Yesterday Tomorrow Today, A Minute Longer, She Takes Her Clothes Off, Plastic California, and one of my favourites, I don't know why this is, it's very slow, but it's I Stopped to Fill My Car Up.
It is very slow. It's really like a bonus track, really, isn't it? It just seems to be like a little add-on on there.
Let me see if I can pick up the inside of it in 2 seconds.
But it's a good listen
So
throughout. the whole
it shows all the like singles. Look how many singles there are.
That's a
Wow.
lot.
on an album.
Yeah.
It's bonkers
That is crazy.
because they were obviously they didn't make it big in America, but
Yeah.
over here, oh my goodness, they were like on top of the pops. Like seemed like every week, you know, everything that Kelly, the lead singer, touched just turned to gold. I really want to get, if it ever comes out on vinyl, is the acoustic version he did with Noel Gallagher on Jules Holland,
Ooh.
because they done a live set together where Kelly's kind of singing songs and then Rod Stewart came on and he was just, you know, the talent that guy's got. I know I keep banging on about the Stereophonics, but
those
Yeah,
are
that's
albums
a lot.
I keep revisiting all these years later. I don't seem to tire from them. You know, I'm still very much interested of hearing those songs. They're solid. Those first 3 albums they did are great. They really are.
Richard, if you're really struggling to get these albums, I will send them to me because I've got doubles of these everywhere. Like because I've got colored vinyl. You can have the black ones. I'll keep the colored ones. But if you're really struggling, because the thing is, Simon, they don't get these albums over there at all, mate. Like you can't get them.
I don't know. They would have them in the thrift stores, wouldn't they? And CDs, and surely would have them around, wouldn't they?
They used actually. Where did you pick up that box set, that CD, decade one? Where did you get that from? Was that eBay?
I found it on eBay.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was domestic. It was from the United States. I can't remember where from. It is, and it's not like I go out and look for Stereophonics records. If I actually made a focused, concerted effort to go look, I might find some. But Stereophonics to me reminds me of kind of like how Feeder never made it in America.
Yeah.
Stereophonics seems to me they didn't make it in America either, and so
No.
their stuff didn't get picked up by a label that's delivering them on a regular basis.
Because their third album, just enough education to perform, you had that song "Have a Nice Day" on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sounds so American. Have a nice day. I'm like, what are you doing, Cal? What is going on with this album? Like, yeah, I know what you mean. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to show. I've run out of clues here. I was just like, okay, now what? I couldn't decide on those 2 albums because to me,
That's
those
fine.
are the
That's
best
fine.
Stereophonics
I
albums.
understand. I completely get you. You'll probably be showing their follow-up after then, won't you? Because that is a great album as well. You can't.
Which one?
Deny. The third one, the one after.
The third album was just enough education.
Yeah.
And then the fourth album was You've Got to Go There to Come Back, which had Madam Helga, and Maybe Tomorrow.
I think it took a bit of a dip for me after the third album. I kind of was a bit.
They should just But Kelly said in an interview, he said, "I can't scream these fucking records out for the rest of my life. Like I can make rock. I'm not AC/DC. I can't go out and
but some of them don't need
every time.
Some of those deep cuts are just acoustic numbers, aren't they? They're quite softly spoken.
Well, put it this way, right? I'm just going to say this, and I'm not sticking up for them. I kind of am, but every album the Stereophonics have released have gone to number one. They've released 12 albums, and every single album, including Greatest Hits, have gone to number one.
Jeez.
So I didn't know that.
Every single album has gone to number one. And
Wow.
they haven't just gone to number one, they've flown to number one. So there must be people around Britain that love the Stereophonics. There's a
Right.
lot of Welsh people around.
I love the first three albums, but after then, I find them a little bit mediocre.
Keep the Village alive. You had C'est La Vie, and you had Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That's a good one. And then the last one, I just love the last one. So I mentioned this on last night with RTO on Ian's live stream. Far From Saints, that Kelly Jones is in, that band is more country. So if you listen to that and listen to the new album, it's very similar. So he's not stretching his voice anymore. Kind of like he's not going, bartender and the thief for lovers. It's more kind of, he's in his 50s now. He can't go. Yeah. He's not Brian Johnson. Put it that way.
We can't all be.
But yeah, Rich, I'll send you these albums. You enjoy. Thing is, I got doubles of these anyway, mate. So don't worry about it.
Okay, I got three more real fast. So you mentioned Biffy Clyro. Yeah, let's talk about Biffy Clyro. For me, Puzzle was kind of the album that was the best of what they used to be leading up to this album and kind of where they went. Before this, they were very math rock, juxtaposed rhythms and polyrhythms and guitars all over the place. For a three-piece, I'm like, holy crap, how are they doing this? This album kind of was the beginning of their more mainstream songs for me. So it has kind of some of the hits that kind of came off of this one was Living is a Problem Because Everything Dies. Saturday Superhouse, I love that song. Who's Got a Match? I think it was a B-side. Anything else? Sentimental was the first single off of this one. So it has a lot. This was the my God, how many times have I seen Biffy Clyro? A lot. I saw them in Cambridge on the Infinity Land tour. I saw them here in a teeny tiny, almost a bar. It's like a dive bar with a stage the size of my desk. About 50 people there. So I met the band, talked to the band, got stuff signed.
Check that. No way.
Sorry. Oh, I have 2 drumsticks from the drummer.
What?
Not much, but yeah, talk about a band who hasn't really established themselves here in the States, but is freaking huge in the United Kingdom and parts of Europe. Gary Newman, you want to start anywhere? Start with Replicas and or The Pleasure Principle. That's kind of your greatest hits are these 2 albums.
Rich, can I ask you?
Great albums.
Rich, can I ask you a question about Newman? What dragged you into his kind of music? Was it
what got me into Gary Newman?
Yeah.
Was seeing him on Saturday Night Live back in the 70s, and he he did Cars and Praying to the Aliens, and I was like, I loved the coldness and the frostiness and kind of the robotic like. I loved the sound. I was so hooked on the song Cars. I was like Nick, who's obsessed with the song. But I played this album. This is a reissue of this album. I played the original to death. Every single song on here is just absolutely stunning. All one-word titles, and they're all that cold, frosty, dark synth sound that I just absolutely loved. So
my understanding, he had quite a bit of a rough upbringing, didn't he, which drove him further into his music. You know.
Yes, and for me, kind of what my understanding with him is, I've read the books and his bios and all of that. He grew up on kind of a diet of Bowie and Can, and a lot of those early sort of glam punk, weirdness, and just kind of like fell into the synth sound by accident. The first album is very punky. The White album with just his face is very punk rock, and they made that album just to kind of get signed because everyone was signing punk bands. Went into a studio and found this Moog synthesizer sitting over there and hit a note, and it just went wonk. It was like, whoa, this is cool. Started playing with it, and out of it, within days, this album was released with Our Friends Electric and Mia Disconnect for You, Down in the Park, just that dark, moody, big, huge, beefy synth sound that absolutely sold it to me and apparently everyone else. Still, he's putting out a live album next month, 3-album affair, and it's hellishly expensive, and I don't care. I'm buying it. Last but not least, Dream Pop. Low Dive. So
Yes.
This album is amazing, and it's all you need out of Slow Dive if you don't want to go deep. This has
How do I know this band?
I've got a slow
How do I
dive
know
album.
that band? Like,
Not that one though.
I know the name of that band.
Slow Dive?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. That name is just bouncing out to me for some reason. I don't know why.
Sorry, Richard.
Google Allison, you'll go like, oh yeah, I know that song.
Okay,
It's one of those bands I think people have heard, but they don't know who it is.
Right, okay.
That's them. So, okay, I'm done. That's all of them.
Right, I've still got quite a few records here to show. Actually, I've got about 14, so I'm going to quickly go through this as quick as I can.
Yeah, some people can't take their record fucking room across the country, mate.
I didn't know you were going to be at your parents', did I?
Yeah, but the commitment is there.
I know you're more committed than anyone. I can't take that from you.
I carry all this shit back with me.
Right. Yeah, I know. Lucky for you.
I'm gonna send half of it to Richard. It'd be easier.
Coldplay Parachutes, classic album.
Love it.
Great album from the start to the finish.
Yeah,
and it's not boring. It's still very relevant today. It's still very fresh today. Hits such as Yellow, Sparks, Spies, just great. It's a really great album. And then a couple of years later, the follow-up,
love that one.
Rush of Blood to the Head, with perhaps even greater songs.
love The Scientist.
Scientists, fantastic. Probably their best for me.
Yeah,
But the album on the whole isn't quite as good. I liked it more at the time when it came out. I thought, yeah, this is their best. But looking back now, I do vouch for this being the better album on the whole. Although some of the hits on here are outstanding.
do you know, Simon? Do you know the backstory on Yellow?
No,
Okay, do you want me to educate you?
go for it.
Okay, so Yellow, they couldn't think of a name for the single. They had the lyrics for everything else. They couldn't think of, there's something missing, there's something's missing. So they were in West Wales in the pouring down rain, and they had to find a taxi. So they pulled out the Yellow Pages,
Right.
and the bassist went, Yellow. And that's where the song came from.
Okay. Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's God's honest truth, mate. Honestly, I know people don't believe this, but if you search it on YouTube and that is Chris Martin come up with the name Yellow from Yellow Pages, where you find everybody's business, and I don't know what it is in America, Rich, but Yellow Pages over here is businesses, and yeah, that's where the song title came from.
Right. Because I kind of thought, well, is it a girl he's talking about? You know what I mean? But who's called Yellow? I mean, come on.
Everybody's yellow.
Yeah. But yeah, they kind of it does make sense, to be honest with you. Yeah. It does. Right, moving on.
Sorry, go on.
Great American band, which I think many people are forward believing that they're a British band. Killers, Hot Fuzz, banging album, greatest band, probably certainly that the year this was released, and maybe for a couple of years after. The album's tailed off quite a bit as of this one, but I mean the hits on here. Jenny Was a Friend of Mine, Mr. Brightside, huge hits. Smile Like You Mean It, Somebody Told Me, all these things that I've done. I mean, I'm sold right there. You know, those first five. Second half, not quite as strong, but still good. Solid album.
Have you noticed with Killers, though, they're always good at the first side? Like, even the second album they brought out, like Read My Mind, you had, and there's a few others. Like, you're not going to beat Mr. Brightside, because no matter where you go, I always
everyone knows it, don't they? Everyone knows that song.
Like, yeah.
I saw Killers on that tour, and then I think 2 years later they were headlining Reading, and I saw them there, and I was like, "How do you go from this teeny weeny club to?" That's why Brightside was huge.
It was. Two more by the same artists. Blink-182.
Oh, here he fucking goes again.
Enema of the States. Great album. I suppose it was punk, kind of like commercial punk, I suppose. You know, it's not a typical punk as we Brits know, but it is fantastic from the start to the finish. My brother brought this when it came out in the late 90s, and we loved it. It fucking rocked.
Right, I'll buy the fucking album. All right, I get it. I'll buy the fucking album. He's on about it all the time.
What are they going to do to beat it? And somehow they managed to with the follow up.
That's a better album. That's actually a better album.
I think it is. Yeah, not massively, but yeah, enough.
First Date on there. You got Rock Show on there, mate. That is packed with hits.
It is.
Did I Stay Together for the Kids in there as well? I can't remember.
Anthem Part 2, Online Songs. First Date was a huge hit. Happy Mondays, You Bastard. Story of a Lonely Guy. The Rock Show, another huge hit of theirs. Stay Together for the Kids.
Yeah.
Roller Coaster, Reckless Abandon, great song. Every Time I Look for You, Give Me One Good Reason, Shut Up, and Please Take Me Home. 25 quid on Amazon. It's a bargain, you know. And that was last week I bought that, so
yeah,
I've only just got that one. Classic from the late 90s, The Verve, Urban Hymns. It seemed it came at the right time when Oasis were very quiet, sort of not really a lot going on there. Then The Verve show up with this album, which was massive, and number one in the charts, I believe. This was, wasn't it?
Are they from Manchester as well, The Verve?
They are, yeah. They all know each other, the Noel Gallagher brothers and The Verve. So, classic late 90s album. Red Hot Chili Peppers. By the way, this was huge when this came out, even in the UK. Big album, huge sellout of an album, and it is like a greatest hits. By the way, Universally Speaking, This Is the Place, Dosed, Don't Forget Me, the Zephyr song, Can't Stop.
Zephyr song. Zephyr.
Can't Stop. I Could Die For You. It goes on and on. It's a great great album.
Now
I saw
that
that tour. I
that
saw
is
them
an
on
album.
Californication. I saw them on Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I saw the Foo Fighters open for them.
Would you say it's their best album they've done, Richard?
No,
Say what?
Would you say this is their
That
best
one.
album?
that one.
For me, it's Blood Sugar Sex Magic, just because that was not my intro. I go way back with Chili Peppers because
That's the 90s one, isn't it?
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
was the one that was like, oh, so well. And they headlined Lollapalooza '92, and I went. So
Yeah,
Pearl Jam and Ministry and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I
and
like Californication album. I gotta be honest,
It's a good
that
album,
is
too.
the other side, and the rest of it is amazing.
Yeah. Carbone, Tear, On Mercury, Minor Thing, Warm Tape, Venice Queen. Yeah. Great album. This is an album you need. Keen, Hopes and
Yes.
Fears.
Got it on greatest hits.
Great album. I know you got the greatest hits, but this is an album to adore from the start to the
I
finish.
totally agree with you. I don't think I would need the greatest hits, to be honest. I think all you need is that.
I agree.
I'm quite surprised you
I
didn't bring
agree.
this before, because I was waiting for this all night, to be honest. I was thinking, I wonder if he's going to bring it up at any point tonight.
Yeah, I mean that comp is very, very good, but I think this album is better than the compilation. I think
I agree with you. I honestly,
to the point
100%.
after the next album, they tailed off quite
Yeah,
quite
kinda
a lot. Yeah. The follow up to this was way too orchestral, and I couldn't get to grips with a lot of the songs. I like the hits of the next album, but as an album, it was like it doesn't live up.
Did they
anything
go
to it.
big in America, Rich, at all? Like
They were not big. I saw them once, and I was surprised. The venue they played was like a 4,000 seater. It was quite large.
Yeah.
The Fillmore in Denver, and I saw them there, and I was way down front because it was barely half full. But that was that album.
over here when they first came out. I remember they were everywhere. Like it was insane when they signed. You just couldn't get away from it. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Well, that's the greatest hits because that's their only freaking album.
I know,
Yes.
I cheated. But what an album. What an album. A good album which often goes overlooked in the UK. Big in America, but not so much in the UK, and that's the Wallflowers Bringing Down the Horse.
I feel like I need to
A
get
lot of
into
people
these
talking about
at
that
some point
lately.
because I might be mistaken here. Is that Bob Dylan's son sings
It is.
on that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I think Richard has mentioned this on a live stream, or somebody has.
It wasn't
with
me. It was somebody
Northern
else.
Revolutions, or somebody's mentioned
Yeah.
this, and I'm like, okay, is his name Dylan? Like, what's his first name?
Oh, what is his name? I can think.
Because he released a as a solo artist as well, didn't he? He brought out
Yeah, I think so.
something else
Is
as
it
well.
Jacob? No. I can't
Jacob
remember.
Dylan. That could be it.
Alexa, what's Bob Dylan's son called?
Bob Dylan's son is Jacob Dylan.
Jacob.
It was Jacob. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great album. There's a lot of big hits on here, and it's solid from the get-go. So yeah, recommend that one, Bringing Down the Horse. A favourite of mine of Neil Young's Harvest Moon.
Yep.
Certainly the first half of this album is very, very strong. Unknown Legend. I love these tracks. Like they are timeless. Unknown Legend. Track 2 from Hank to Hendrix. Great song. You and Me, Harvest Moon, of course, was a hit. War of Man. And I recommend this one. Probably my favourite Neil Young album, actually. Over the original Harvest, actually. I think I prefer this one.
Good choice.
I've never been able to get into Neil. I just can't get over the voice.
It's not for everybody.
Tricky artist that changes up so much. It's really hard to know where to get in.
I even tried
agree.
the greatest hits, and I felt like because it's all over the shop.
It is.
He's
Yeah.
he's an album person. I think like you've got to be like a fan. I think, and it just
Harvest is the most popular one, isn't
it's
it?
like Bob Dylan with me. I just don't get it. He sounds like a fucking cheese grater. But
And Bob Dylan's the same way. There's 60s
Yeah.
Bob Dylan. There's religious Bob Dylan. There's this Bob Dylan. There's
yeah, me and Neil I just couldn't connect with him, to be honest. And I get the hits. I can hear the hits and go, yeah, that's him.
You're not the only one to say that. It's it's been a bit of a divide over Neil Young in the VC, isn't there? Of who likes them and who doesn't. Moving on for someone who's quite different. Based over in Brighton, actually, quite local to me. Fatboy Slim.
Yeah.
You've come a long way, baby. This was a big album in the late 90s. About 3 number ones, I think, off this album. Right here, right now.
It's just British at this point because he knows everything. The way
He is as good as a Brit on here, isn't he, Richard?
we're going to adopt Richard just as a Brit. It's fine.
We are. It's happening. Rockefeller Shank, fucking in heaven. Not the sort of song you expect, but it's on here. Gangster Tripping. That's a great song.
Oh yeah.
A lot of it is kind of a little bit of mockery, I think, isn't it, of a certain hip hop elements which he's been pieced together, but he's pulled it off really, really well.
He sometimes goes out there. Remember that slash dot what did he do?
Slash.com or something like that. Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? It's like you've had a nervous breakdown at this point, mate, and you've just gone slash.com. Oh yeah,
he has fun with what he does, doesn't he? You can tell in his music. So yeah, you've come a long way, baby.
That's probably the best album he's ever done. I gotta be honest.
Believe American artist Richard will confirm Semisonic Feeling Strange.
Oh, yes.
This is a greatest hits album. It isn't, but it is. You know what I mean?
But it is.
Secret Smile.
Even if he admitted, I shouldn't have done this album. It is too much like a greatest hits. I should have spread them out on different albums. But he gave us.
That's a brilliant album. They've done Secret Smile. I love the song Closing Time.
I love that song. That's my favorite song.
That's a great song. Yeah. You can't get the singles very often on vinyl either. I think Closing Time is available as a single.
Simon, if you ever see that in the wild, I don't care how much it costs. Just pick it up for me, mate, and I will.
All right.
Send you the money because I'm desperate for years and years and years to get this album. Like I even enjoyed the last album they brought out. Was it last year?
It's not cheap now. It's gone out in price big time.
I know. Well.
And it's been available for so long at a reasonably price, and now it's just
finding the women. I looked everywhere for this album. I love this album.
It is. I love this album. It's for me. It's certainly my top 5 of the 90s.
Yeah,
regarding albums.
Was it big in America, Rich? Semisonic.
That particular album was pretty huge, but then anything they did after that.
Did you listen to their last album they brought out? It was bloody brilliant. It was tremendous. I remember listening to an album music. I was going to work. I was on the commute, and I was like, "This sounds like Semisonic." And I was looking at my phone and going, "Yeah, it is Semisonic." They had a new album, and they were so like catchy. These songs.
Let's put it this way: that CD I can get it on Amazon is $50. The vinyl, you can't get the vinyl. The vinyl, good luck.
Right. Yeah. Simon, you got 2 copies of that. Let's make a deal.
I've got a 12-inch single of theirs actually. Off that.
Has it got Closing Time on? If it is, we'll make a deal.
It could be. I can't remember. It could be Closing Time. I'll have to dig it out and have a look.
Anyway, sorry. Go on.
Final one then. Travis. Lovely album. It's beautiful. And it's set in a kind of a lonely kind of. It's got a kind of a loneliness to this album, and it unravels a story, I think, of a romance, which I think was a bit of a struggle, but it's great album from the start.
And he had the best Mohican going in the 90s to 2000s, didn't he? Remember, he used to change colour.
I love this album. I think it's.
Do you remember Glastonbury when they sung Why Does It Always Rain on Me and it was sunny and they started singing it and he fucking started pissing down for the rest of the day? Do you remember that?
So anyway, that concludes everything I got out. So
Well done.
so yeah, thank you you two for persevering and getting out your records and
Carrying across the country. You're welcome, mate.
traveling across the country and showing your record collection. So I do appreciate it. So thank you very much, you two. It's been fun actually. I enjoyed it. So.
Not what you two expected from me. I know you were expecting Stereophonics at some point, but I kind of went out the box with this one. I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be easy for you. So,
No.
but you done really well, Chris. Seriously, you did. Yeah.
I enjoyed this tonight, actually. I always enjoy the live streams, you know that. And it's actually quite nice not to control the fucking chat.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is just a nice to sort of step back and not have to worry, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually enjoy this because it's more, especially with us three, because like Simon's, how old are you, Simon?
40.
Okay, so I'm 42.
Oh.
So we're kind of the same kind of music. You know, Richard's into the same kind of music because, let's be honest, he's British at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
whatever. You know, he's more British than he is American.
British
but
at heart.
yeah, so you know, we're into the same kind of genre, same kind of music. We can relate more. You know, if I pulled an album from somebody from America with Stereophonics, I'm like, what the hell is that? It's like, what are you talking about? But then I can pull Chris Stapleton, and it's kind of fucking hell. Where'd that come from? You know.
I think one of the things I struggle in my channel is the fact that my music interests are not mainstream American.
Yeah.
So my viewership is primarily United States because that's where the algorithm pushes everything. And I get trickles from Canada and trickles from the UK and Japan and a few other places. But people watch my channel, they're like, I don't know half of these bands. But that was sort of what I was trying to check this out. It's good stuff, people. And it's kind of flat.
My top two, believe it or not, are Canada, UK. Because I looked this other day. It was Canada, UK, America, India, Portugal, China. So it's kind of
interesting.
Yeah. So I looked at the analysts on YouTube Studio, and I was like, Portugal. I can't even understand myself sometimes. So how the fuck are they watching my channel?
I think when there's 3 on a live stream, I think that's a nice round number.
Yeah,
for a live stream. And especially when you got like a common ground to talk about, which everyone's kind of on board and into the same stuff.
I think
it works very well.
This would be perfect for Sunday night. Just us 3.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to put it in the chat. I'm just going to send it to you two guys. And then, do you think we should do it at 8 o'clock instead, Simon, instead of 7? Because I'm just thinking the time here.
7:30 is good for me.
Are you sure? What about you, Rich? I'm looking forward to this one because I know Simon's probably been to some really good gigs and Richard has. But I'm what I'm picking up tomorrow from the record shop, I'm very excited about, obviously because it's Oasis, but because I've seen them live. But I think this is a good panel, mate. Honestly, Simon, this is like
as much as I like to do it, Chris, I'm not one for seeing bands. I've never really have seen anybody particularly. So I don't know what I could offer on the live stream.
I know Ian's going to join.
Right.
I know
he has seen a lot of people. So
yes.
Yeah.
Just don't leave comments and saying, "Oh, that was shit," because I know what you were like.
How about Simon? How about you do like, oh God, I wish I've seen this. Have you seen
Yes,
them?
bands I wish I'd seen.
A lot. What I put in the chat is tongue in cheek, and but ones who know me know that. So,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you should just jump on like bands that are just randomly going, oh, these are the bands I haven't seen, but I want to look at.
I thought showing some random stuff, some CDs and things I brought.
Yeah, yeah.
Mix it up a bit or something.
Right, Rich, I enjoy having Simon on because the last couple of times I've done it, like we've run out of ideas halfway through and gone, oh, do you want me to show you my Oasis pressing? Or do you want to see the? I'm like,
Yeah.
You crack on, son.
Yeah, but it just helps sort of like pass the time, doesn't it? Showing
But it's
stuff.
brilliant then because you discover music. It's like, forgot about them.
Yeah. I like that video Rob did when he was showing his cubes of vinyl. I think those kind of, when you're
Yes.
showing cubes of vinyl, I like that kind of stuff. I like seeing what's in people's collections on the whole, and how they organize it and all the sort of nerdy little things. So
It is so interesting hearing how different people organize their record collections.
he does it the way I do it. I thought, no
Genre,
way,
buy
I do
this.
it in decades as well. So I was like, no way.
I do it from the last, like their surname, unless it's like AC/DC or the band, because I have to go with T then, because it's the band, because it's kind of like one word, the band.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you guys do.
Mine is alpha A to Z, but this cube, this section right here, and a little bit of this section at the bottom that you can't see, this is all stuff that I bought like pre-CD explosion.
Okay.
So I was one of those people who collected vinyl early in life, but then when CDs hit it big, I didn't get rid of my vinyl. I kept it. So that's what all this is. Then all the rest of it that goes into the other room is vinyl I've picked up since about like 2003. So yeah.
Right.
But
I do it A to Z. I have all my sort of my 180 gram modern stuff in a way, in separate cubes, and then I go into my 90s, but I don't put it in. If I have a 90s album pressed in the 90s, it goes in the 90s. If I have a 90s album which is pressed, say, in the 2000s, it goes with the modern stuff, like the 180 gram stuff. So it literally depends on when it was pressed, what year it was pressed. Then it goes into sort of like into the decades. So it originally has to be pressed in a certain year to fit in with the decades. So sometimes it looks a bit weird seeing some modern presses in different areas of the room, but that's just how I do it. So everybody,
whatever makes sense to you. I know some people put all their soundtracks together. I have all my jazz stuff is separate because it's barely one cube. And then all my 10-inch vinyl is in one cube because I don't have that many.
I only got one soundtrack in my entire collection. And it's lost.
Oh.
Right.
I love that TV show. I can watch it again and again and again. And it's literally the first track is fucking 30 seconds. It's just that's it. And it's kind of like instrumental straight through. And Liz keeps saying to me, do you really fucking need this? Like, what? All of a sudden you go, woo! It's like where the polar bears attack them. And anyway, so that's the only soundtrack I've got. Yeah. I've got Top Gun as well.
So then you have two.
Yeah. I've got a lot of soundtracks and scores, but
I've got AC/DC's. I showed you the other night the greatest hits. Well, the Iron Man 2.
Iron Man, yeah.
Which counts as it's pretty much the greatest hits, isn't it?
It's a comp, yeah.
Because my mate was like, you need to get Iron Man 2. I was like, why? Have you listened to the fucking soundtrack?
You do.
Yeah.
I would have to go through my entire collection and pull soundtracks out just to put them together. I would probably, I don't know, 20 maybe.
I think with
Right.
soundtracks, you need to be in the mood for it. I think one of the best ones I've ever seen is the Forrest Gump one.
That is a good soundtrack.
That
Yeah,
is
that is a good soundtrack.
insanely good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So yeah, I have a few of those, and they're just sort of entwined in the collection. There's no category as such, you know. My compilations I have for a cube for those, and I tend to stick within the cube. I don't like to go outside the cube. You know what I mean? I
It
don't
sounds
like
like a game show. This does.
It does, doesn't it?
Outside the queue.
It does. No, I sort of try to have like strict parameters to work in, but it doesn't always work. Sometimes, you know.
Simon, do you walk into a room and go, somebody's been here? I can sense
Sometimes.
it.
Sometimes, yeah. I can tell when someone actually has been in this room.
Yeah, I can as well in my back room with Liz. I'm like, he's been in here, hasn't he? I can
Yeah.
smell him. I can smell the
You
salt.
reorganize something.
That's
I
my
like
cat.
a centimeter
There
off
you-
the record player. I can like, Ali's been in here, isn't he?
We know our stuff so well. We know when something's been moved and touched, don't we? We're just like, that's not Richard.
Oh, he put a crayon, not a crayon, but like a permanent marker by the side of the record player on the top, and I went, "Are you shitting me?
Nobody
It's
touches
like,
the
Are
turntable.
you shitting me?"
Well, get ready for when you get older and you start misplacing things and you don't know where they are, and then you find them years later. It's like, aha!
Mate, I get the blame for
Kind of
Liz.
rewarding though, isn't it? It's kind of like
Yeah,
a bonus.
I get the blame for Liz losing her keys.
That's like putting a jacket on and finding a £5 note in the pocket, isn't it? Oh,
I went, oh,
Right.
I can go to the stripper.
Who knew? I'm rich.
Anyway, fellas, thank you so much for coming on, contributing to the live stream. I do appreciate it. We'll do it all again probably
Tomorrow.
on quizzes. Tomorrow? Okay, tomorrow. I don't know what I'm
Oh,
gonna
sorry,
come
Sunday, not tomorrow. Sunday.
up- Sunday. I'll be around in some capacity, no doubt. So yeah, I might jump on and contribute to what I can.
It's gonna
to
be
help.
it's gonna be an interesting one, I think.
Well, I think it's gonna be good.
So we're doing on my channel, we're gonna do artists you've watched live. So it doesn't matter if it's a live album, if it's just an album that got you into that band to buy that ticket to go and watch them live.
Okay. If you want me on, Chris, I'll come on.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna send you the fucking link, you imbecile. You fucking
Right.
coming on.
Okay.
Right. Richard's coming on. You're
there.
coming on. I got Ian. Rob from Canada can't make it because he's doing the MK. No,
Oh yeah, they're going
Boston.
record shopping with MK Boston,
Yeah.
MGK Boston, and Embryonic Robot.
it's going to be invite only for mine on Sunday because what I'm finding is I'm putting the link in the description and like I just can't control who's coming on, who's telling me. I've just clicked the link. I'm trying to control the chat at the same time. And
It's a lot.
trying to keep it going.
It's a lot.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. You need some moderators and
I do,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
the only problem is I don't like many people.
No. Give it some time. Give it some time. And then you can always
I just want to keep it. I think you are right. 3 is probably a good base to go on, but I think with me 4, so I can bounce off. We got 4 people to look at, kind of.
yeah.
You know, even when I'm trying to work on the chat, and then see whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I
And-
appreciate tonight. It's been pretty good. Some good choices. And yeah, sorry I showed Stereophonics twice, but I was running out of fucking ideas, mate, to be honest.
No, don't apologise. Richard, are you likely to do a live stream anytime soon?
Yeah, come on, mate.
What happened with my live stream is I was doing Friday evenings, and it just seemed like if I did them at like about 6 p.m. my time, everybody in America is doing Friday, happy
Yeah.
hours. And they're out, and everybody in the UK is in bed because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I just really couldn't find a time that worked, so I just kind of stopped doing it.
Why did he do it? It'd be perfect on a Monday, but lunchtime for us.
I'll consider that.
Because what you could do is Richard's Vinyl Tap lunchtime edition. Have a pint.
The liquid lunch
Have a
hour.
drink. What do they call in the UK, Simon? Steak and what?
What's that?
You go to lunchtime to Witherspoons in town. You can have like steak and a beer or something for like a $5 or something. What was it called?
Brunch? I don't know.
Surf and steak.
Right.
Yeah, it'd probably work. I don't know.
Well,
I'll think about it.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Anyway, right, let's shut it down now and
Shut it down.
shut it down. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Bye for now, fellas. See you again.